Well, welcome to another episode of the Stanwood Foursquare Mancast, where we does everything manly for Stanwood Foursquare, here with the invenerable, is that a word?
I like it.
Jonathan C. Perico. What's your middle name, Jonathan?
Michael.
Yeah,
C. I'll
Jonathan
go C.
M. Periso. Hey, it is the second week of November. Right here is November, and we're moving into the holiday season. And one of the things, Thanksgiving's around the corner, Christmas is coming, New Year's. Wouldn't it make so much more sense if they took all of these meaningful celebrations and extended them throughout the year evenly?
Spread it out a little bit, yeah.
But I have discovered that a lot of, in my premarital counseling and working with couples, and surprisingly for my own life, that there is very few times of seasons that cause more stress, anxiety. My wife and I, after 25 years of marriage, some of our most robust conversations have come from this stress of the season and family and all those kind of things. So we're going to take today's episode and talk about gearing up for the holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving season, and how do we lead our families well? How do we lead our lives well? We talked about mentorship last episode, but there's also this concept of reverse mentoring. So hopefully you learn a lot of things not to do from us, because we are learners, sojourners in this process as well.
I have plenty of failure in this area.
Failures. So maybe that'd be a good way to start. Jonathan, what's been your biggest failure?
Oh, man. There's been a few, but...
when you talk about Christmas and holidays and...
The list is long and distinguished, but I remember our first year being married. We, Jasmine, her family's from down in Oregon, and we moved up here to Stanwood. My family's close by. And I remember exactly where we were. We were outside on the porch, and we were coming in from grocery shopping or something, talking about what are we going to do for the holidays. And she starts, she had the right desire, because she's away from her family, to go to her family for both Thanksgiving and for Christmas. And, I have the thought like, well, what are we going to do with my family? And unfortunately, I didn't allow that thought to come out in the most gracious way. And it led to me saying the words, which I don't recommend ever.
And a reverse mentoring opportunity right here. Take notes.
It led me to saying the words, you got to cut the cord sometime. And why that came out, I have no idea. It led to, as you would say, a robust conversation of values and family and what do we do with the holidays, and just realizing this: our idea of family and our idea of holidays and our idea of how to show value were just completely different. We're on very different sides of the spectrum. So yeah, there's a failure for you, Tim. Did we learn? Sure, we learned, but man, that was a rough season trying to figure that out.
Right, and we, even in our premarital coaching and counseling that we do, it's one of those things you just don't think of. You're going to think like, oh, every family celebrates Christmas like my family celebrated Christmas. Yeah. Like, this was a huge difference. My family was, we opened presents on Christmas morning. Anna's family was Christmas night, or Christmas Eve night. Yeah. And I'm like, these heretics, Jesus was born on Christmas morning. But why would you open presents when Jesus wasn't born? And so we had to learn to just be gracious and navigate that. But we have a lot of expectations, and part of our fondest memories, right, are from these moments of Christmas, nostalgia, Thanksgiving, all those things. And so when you create a new family, whether you're married, whether you're single, whatever it is, you're trying to think, hey, how do I reproduce a lot of those things?
Yeah.
And even biblically, what does it talk about is these two, a husband and a wife, they leave their mother and father, and they're connected and become one together. So there's an element of, so there was some truth in there. When are you going to cut the cord?
Sure.
Because you guys are creating something new. Yeah. But it's not like she needs to deny her parents.
No.
And another thing too, right? Jasmine's the oldest.
Yep.
And you're the youngest.
Yep.
So she had all these younger siblings that were still at home.
She had an 8-year-old brother at the time.
Yeah. That's what's a little different. Like, I want to be there for Christmas morning. You're the youngest. Everybody's already gone.
Doing their own thing.
Yeah. So one of the things you got to talk about that is you have to have really honest conversations. And here's Christmas, especially, I think we're so idealistic about. We love the lights and the candles and the warm fuzzies and all those things. But this is the reality. How do you serve her family? How do you serve your family? And how do you serve the new family that you're a part of?
And That's a great question, because along the journey of figuring that out and being married, kids introduce a whole new dynamic into
For
that,
sure.
right? And so when it was just Jasmine and I, there was more flexibility to figure out where we could go and how we could do it together, and learning our family unit, me and her, are the most important thing. But then kids got involved, and just the logistics of bringing a baby 6 hours down on a holiday and coming back up, like that changes everything. And it really kind of cemented of what is our family tradition?
Yeah.
What's important to us? How do we make sure our family is served and honored? And if we have the availability and the flexibility to do outside of that, great. If not, that's fine too. Yeah.
So I think the idealism is we think that we can be fair in all those. And here's what I would say with that, your family. And then if you had a blended family too, you had the kids' step parents, kids, you had a divorce. It can get super, super complicated. So we have to come back to this idea of that something's got to give. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
And so it means that you got to create some boundaries. You have to have some honest conversations, and you have to recognize your own limitations.
Yep.
So it can be challenging, it can be difficult. I don't know how you do all that, but you have to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's meant to be this greatest time of the year of the fun memories, you're going to get exhausted, frustrated, worn out, and broke.
Yeah. Yeah. You said boundaries there. That's great thought and process. I don't know if we're always great in how to navigate boundaries or create boundaries. What have been like helpful thoughts for you and your family structures to create healthy boundaries? Like, are there principles that you've followed, or how do you navigate that?
So one of the things just uniquely for me as a pastor, you're part of this, is we do Christmas Eve services.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just recognized that us driving across the country on Christmas is not an option, right? My family's not close. So here's a boundary we created. That, hey, mom and dad, my desire is to be with you on Christmas Day, but just the nature of my work. And it's not just us, nurses, doctors, like life goes on Christmas. People got to work and, you got to be on call. Sometimes people rotate through that. The world goes on. So those are some realities that you just have to face and have honest conversations. And so we discovered that the 25th, my kids were convinced for years that Santa Claus brought Christmas gifts on December 26th because we were driving on Christmas Day. And so it kind of turned out fun. The 25th was we celebrated Jesus and his birth. Yeah. And the 26th is when we got to be with, cousins and some different family members and things like that. We kind of found out this thing that with Anna's family, New Year's Day that was Christmas Day because Anna's sister was born on Christmas morning. So we're already celebrating a birthday with Jesus and Aunt Greta. And then Anna's mom was on the 26th. It was super convoluted. So all these different
Christmas time is wild.
So what if we could say, hey, this is not, the days are not so much the sacred part, but it's the being together part. And so how do we find creative ways to be together? And it gets complicated when you got brothers and sisters and they got spouses and cousins and all these kind of things. So if we can lay off a little bit of the expectation of it all has to be done this way, and we just come and say, hey, our desires to be together. Yeah. What's the best way we can do that and maintain our family traditions? Yeah. Because I think the worst thing is that your kids would look back and like, all we did was go and visit everybody else and we had no meaningful traditions. Because especially Christmas. That's Easter and Christmas are they're it's deeply like religious. Yeah. They're not just religious. They're when we worship Jesus, his birth. It's a huge memorable part. So like the Advent season, which we're going to run into with our arrival season, I think those can be meaningful things where we move away from just an event like Thanksgiving. Don't you think we should have a season of Thanksgiving? Yeah. Versus necessarily Thursday at 4:00 we all meet. Can we have a season or a time when we're thankful? Those can be difficult. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to please everybody. No. And I think that's probably where it comes in of how do we as men lead our homes, specifically in the holiday season. It's like when Paul says, husbands, love your wives, right? Yeah. And just as Christ loved the church. Okay, so what did Christ do for the church? Well, he died. Like he gave it all. He loved the church by laying his life down. One of the ways that we as men can lead our homes by loving them well is, I know this sounds cringy, but what if we even like moved our wants and desires for the holiday season
kind of to the side table and look at our spouse and say, what are her wants and desires for the holiday season? Not that ours aren't important, but I know for me, oftentimes my wants, my nostalgia, my desires for the holidays, the things that feel special to me, sometimes cloud my judgment of what's important to her.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a practical way that we could lead our families, lead our homes in what could be a crazy
for sure
season.
And you want to talk about boundaries and love? Here, you're going to disappoint somebody.
Yeah.
And so men leading your home, here's what it is. You have to create a hierarchical of disappointment. Here's just the reality of it.
Who gets the work? Yeah. Who gets the less?
And your mom, disappointing your mom or mother-in-law or stepmom should be way lower on the list than disappointing your spouse.
Yep.
And your children.
Yep.
And that's part of God's design of you are a new family unit. This is they have launched you, leaving and cleaving, right? And so unfortunately, there's only so many hours in the day. We all have to work. There's so many things. Not everybody just lives on family compounds anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to embrace the reality and our limitations. And you just have to say, I'm going to disappoint somebody. So who's it going to be?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you're mean. It doesn't mean you're brutal. Be like, hey mom, I can't come over on the 25th, but man, we'll be there on the 28th. So excited to celebrate with you. And we're going to have a great time together.
Yeah. I love, so on the hierarchical list of who gets the least amount of disappointments, like, hey, maybe your bride should get no disappointment as best as possible.
Yeah,
and maybe a little.
I think everybody, it has to be a negotiation, right?
Different. But right under that list, something that I deal with, I don't know, everybody's family structure is different, but when you have young kids, like Christmas is a magical season, right? And you want your kids to experience the joys, the highs, the magic of that Christmas season. And what do you think about all of the traveling and the back and forth and all of the hectic craziness of traveling? Like, how do we navigate that, trying to make everybody happy, to see everybody? And
I think it's the pressure, all those pressures of disappointment. And then there's just another financial reality to it. Yeah. Statistically, people get in big time debt every Christmas because, you don't have in your budget to travel or fly. Like a lot of those things, you're buying extra groceries. And then there's all the gifts. So one, you need to sit down with your spouse. This is why we're doing this in the beginning of November. You need to sit down now and you need to create a budget.
Yeah.
And say, okay, here's what we'd love to do, but here's what we can do.
Sure.
And automatically, then that just sets a parameter and a boundary that helps you recognize that in January, when you open your credit card bill, you're not living out of whack. And it's like, I think in attempt for idealism, we get ourselves in financial debt, and the scriptures are just like, that's not wise. It's dumb. I would even be the edge of sin where we're slaves to the debt that we have. Sure, you had a magical day, but now you're paying it off for the next 5 years, and your kids aren't going to have any college savings, and you're not going to be able to retire.
Yep.
That's dumb.
Yep. And you're grumpy because of it.
Yes.
So you treat them.
So you have to sit down, and this is one of the boundaries. I think you have to sit down. Husbands, some of us are spenders, some of us are savers, and you need to create a Christmas budget.
Yeah. Speaking of, so let's talk about that for a second. Christmas budgets, overspending, all of that stuff. For me, maybe for some other people out there, buying gifts, especially buying gifts for your wife.
Oh yeah,
can cause a lot of stress. A little bit of stress or a lot of bit of stress. Like there's expectations, there's hopes, there's desires, but there's also realities. Like, what would you say to the guy that's maybe they're not even thinking, hey guys, if you're not thinking about getting your wife a Christmas present, here's your sign. Yeah. But how do we navigate that as guys who want to love their wives well, but also live in financial realities? Like, how do you create a temperature in your home that sets up for helpful expectations?
Yeah. Well, I heard somebody say this week, I was watching or reading something, is there's two things you need to know about women, and nobody knows what they are. But with that, to say, I'm good. I got you on that one. It's true. Is every wife, every woman's a little different, but I think the essence of what it is you may not get the perfect gift, but they want to know that you're thinking and putting effort and intention into it.
Yeah.
Not, some women want diamond rings, but some women want you to, a gift that you put work and energy into could be way more meaningful than the money you spend.
Yeah.
So this is even just men. This is a little different of the psychology of understanding women is, so most of the time, I forget, is it Mark Gungor, I think, who talked about this in his Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage is, hey, we take our wives to the Caribbean. We think that's worth 100 points and we get flowers on the way home. Oh, that's worth 5 points. We have we're like creating a football game, or, this is a field goal. This is a touchdown.
Yep.
This is a safety. And for women, the way that they work, this is just psychologically how the female brain works, is a trip to the Caribbean is 1 point. Doing the dishes is 1 point. And so a lot of times when we come to Christmas, we have this expectation is I'm going to hit a home run thing. So financially, I think you got to live within your parameters. You need to sit down and create expectations. That's one of the hard things at Christmas is say, hey, sweetie, if we're going to buy the kids, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Hey, we have $150 left to spend gifts on each other.
Yeah.
And what that does is that sets the expectation.
Yep. And
that can be really helpful. It can be sad sometimes, but they're just in different seasons. And I don't think any of us need more crap.
No. And this too. You've communicated this, but oftentimes it's not even about it's about the intention that we have of thinking through what we're buying.
Yeah.
Not how much money we're spending on what we're buying.
And it's the thoughtfulness. So listen,
the thoughtfulness.
Like we've in our family the last several years, we've really doubled down on more experiences.
Yeah.
And so like concert tickets, events, just things like that. And so those have become kind of Christmas gifts. Yep. And it might not even, it's not going to happen until February or March, but I think those intentionality can be really important. Living within the greatest gift that you can give, boundary that you can lay for your family is to be generous. That's really the heart of Christmas is the gifts. And so that's why we even do this arrival giving is what if you redirected some of your Christmas spending to give to people in need? And I know that that's hard. Some people want, their kids to just have the most bad and they go to Disneyland and every year and they're surprised and all these things. And those can be great and wonderful, but save for it.
Yeah.
And make sure that that's not a debt you incur, but so it's a gift. We all know, Christmas Vacation, and the guy gets the Jelly of the Month club. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Yes. Here's the challenge. A lot of us, how we do Christmas is it's the negative gift that keeps on giving because we've created unrealistic expectations. We've lived with parameters that we cannot sustain. We're spending time and energy and resources. Your kids are getting a break from school and they're exhausted and need to go back to school because you haven't let them rest and recuperate and enjoy the season. So you got to set some boundaries. You got to create a hierarchical of disappointment and live within your means. And when you do that, that actually allows joy to be in the season. And so many people miss joy at Christmas because you're trying to please everybody.
That's good.
And it's supposed to be a season of worship that we come to Christmas, especially. Thanksgiving is the season of Thanksgiving. Are we supposed to be stressed out and tap to our means? Or we're supposed to be, God, thank you for your provision, that you provide a food on the table, that we're doing okay this year. Christmas, Lord, thank you that you sent your son Jesus, the greatest gift in the world. We want to give meaningful gifts to not only our kids, and you got young kids, the boxes are always better than the so even taking that expectation that I have to have the most amazing, the gift that I'll remember forever that my parents got me, we didn't have much, is my dad made me some blocks out of, it was probably a 2x4. He cut them into some shapes of blocks. And then my mom recorded on tape back in the old day, the story of the blocks on tape. And I don't remember any other gifts I got 5 years on each side of that.
Yeah.
But I'll remember when my mom recorded her voice and told a story on a tape recorder, and my dad made some blocks and drew some pictures on them, which was part of this whole thing. Huh. And my guess is that probably cost them $4.95, probably even less back then, but some time and intention. And I remember that. Yeah. I don't remember the Lego toy that broke. Yep. So find those things that are meaningful. Have good discussions so that people aren't, if you're thought, oh, we don't need anything, but actually they want something.
Oh yeah. Don't fall for that trap.
Don't fall for that. So be intentional, but create boundaries that can be really helpful, and budget and have dialogue about it. But guys, here's what you need to do. You need to lead your family and you need to lovingly lead your wife. And I think if you think through it, you might strike out, but learn from your mistakes. The worst is when you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. That's when the grace is gone.
Yep.
So give gifts that matter. Think about it. So it's November. Start thinking about it now. Don't wait till, Amazon Prime delivery.
Yeah. A week before is not the thing.
No. So start thinking about it. And it gives you opportunity to be creative. I think if you have kids, get your kids involved in that sometimes too. It can be really fun. Ask her friends. Like those are the meaningful things that says, hey, I'm investigating. I'm interested. I care. The greatest thing you could ever get if one of your wife's friends comes and says, hey, your husband was asking me what you want for Christmas. What do you want me to tell him? What do you think that will do for her?
Massive brownie points.
She'll just be like, he cares about me.
Yeah.
He's interested and he's investigating.
Yeah.
And that can be a really huge thing. And then they can create this great third party thing where they tell them what they want and then it gets back. But it's the thought, right? It's the thought. It's the meaningful. And you have to learn what your wife wants. For my wife, I learned, this is different than many other ones. Some practical things that we would never be able to afford that would make our life and house go easier. She loved those as Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Like if we were going to get the basic like blender or something, like, hey, I'm going to spring for the Vegemite or whatever.
Yeah.
We needed a new blender.
The Vitamix.
That's the one. And it's stupid. It's like $300. I never buy it in real life. But hey, for Christmas, we need a new blender versus getting the $50 Hamilton Beach thing at Walmart. That was meaningful for my wife. Yeah. That's not everybody.
Yep. You find what their love language is.
Yeah.
And
find
you
out what's meaningful.
Yeah.
And so
everybody's different.
Things. Yeah. And everything's were different. And I bought jewelry and it's like, that's not, you find out what lights her up.
Yep.
And that's what matters.
Yeah. I love that. And I think it is finding practical ways to love your wife. It's like, well, lead your family, love your wife. Well, how? I mean, practically.
And consistency over time is way better than an awesome Christmas gift. I'll just tell you that. Your wife would be much better have you be consistent over time with 1 point than trying to hit a grand slam home run every Christmas. Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs this year, but he also struck out 188 times.
Great stat.
I think that's correct. That was just not even the postseason.
Yeah.
But he struck out 3 times as many as home runs he hit.
Yep.
So we need to be Ichiro, who just was the base hit guy.
Base.
Like, man, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And I think that's what often you got to change our mentality. Hey, I got to hit consistent base hits and love my wife, love my kids. What do they need? What's important? What's meaningful at this season and moment in life?
Well, hey guys, it's November. We're almost to Thanksgiving. Start thinking about it now. Love you guys. And till next time.
Peace out.